Hi, I'm Captain Chris, and welcome to Docking. In this DVD, we'll show you different docking procedures using single-engine boats, twin-engine boats, and the newer pod drive systems. We'll introduce you to the single-lever controls, the two-lever controls, and yes, the new fly-by-wire joystick controls. We'll even talk about the use of bow thrusters and a potential stern thruster. When we dock a boat, we prefer to use a breast line first and follow up by tying up the stern and bow line. And another thing that we'd like to introduce you to is the door hinge, where you tie up the stern line first and use either a thruster or your engine to propel the bow in closer to the dock. Stick around and learn how you can enjoy docking.
This is pleasure boating, and docking begins with line preparation. So we remove all unnecessary lines, and we like to leave a bow, a midship, and a stern as our last three lines. No matter how many times we do this, no matter how many trips we've taken together, we still go through all these basic steps, including how to communicate with each other. Whenever I give him information, he acknowledges it, at least with an okay, so I know he's heard me. We've already talked about what the plan is for leaving the dock, which line is first, which line is last, and it's essential that every crew member understands how to tie a proper cleat knot and coil a line to throw it. Patience. Remember, this is about having fun, not winning a race, so let the wind cooperate with you. Speaking of, we have to check out things and see if everything is happening the way we expect it to. Do we still have good wind? Is the current in our favor? Has there been any traffic that's popped up? Any equipment issues that we've got to deal with? Nope, we've checked, everything's good, so we're getting ready to untie the second to last line, which is usually our stern. We almost always leave our midship breast line for last, and you'll see why in just a moment. The breast line comes from the center of the boat, and it allows the boat to be held close to the dock in any kind of wind, and allows me to get on the boat without jumping with that last line. So we close the handrail for safety and make one last adjustment to snug up that breast line.
This is a twin-engine boat with no bow thruster. We've got the boat twisted out a little bit diagonally from the dock. Both engines are in reverse, going straight out backwards. Once we clear the dock, you'll notice that I put the starboard engine into neutral for a moment and then into forward gear, and now we're twisting, spinning on a dime. The port engine is still in reverse. You'll see the twist slow down in a moment. Put the port engine into neutral, and now I'll put it into forward gear and the boat will go straight. At this time I'll start using the steering wheel to direct the boat.
After we've cleared the dock, I can go back to securing my lines, and I lift the fenders to stow them in the rack on our bow. We've just had a terrific day out on the water, and it's time to come back to the dock. Or maybe it's a brand new dock to us, a new marina, someplace we've never been before. So we asked the marina staff, should we dock on the port side or the starboard side? Are we going to be bow in or stern in? Are they fixed or floating docks? Best to be prepared and have your lines ready on both sides. Bow, midship and stern, port and starboard side. Then when you come into the dock, you're ready, no matter what. I'm standing at the midship holding the breast line, It's the last line that we let go before we left the dock, and it will be the first line that we use to secure the boat.
Now that Elise has the dock lines and the fenders prepared, I can approach the dock. I'm approaching slowly, feeling the effects of the wind and the tidal current, and I'm just gliding in slowly, slowly, slowly. You can see me slow the boat down with a little reverse gear, and now I'm just maneuvering against the dock. Again, this is a twin engine boat with no thruster.
Once we're close to the dock, I cast my midship breast line over the cleat, secure it back to the boat, let Chris know that it's secured. It stops the boat. We're going to roll a little bit, bounce a little bit. I wait until that happens, then I hop off the boat, bring a boat pole, and get ready to take my line that's prepared to either throw if somebody's there for me, or to catch it myself when I go onto the dock. Because sometimes people aren't at the dock to catch your lines.
Guys on.
Good, thank you.
I know, but this is half off the horn, so that's a good opportunity to talk about that.
Notice I bring my boat pole with me, from the midship to the bow, and then to the stern, so I can grab my lines, which I have prepared to be easily accessible.
Turns on.
So let's back up and do this again.
I have a shifter for each engine at my left hand and a throttle for each engine at my right hand. Both shifters are in neutral at the straight up 12 o'clock position, and the throttles are at idle when they're pulled all the way back. Both engines are in forward gear, and notice the throttles are advanced. Port engine is in forward gear, starboard engine is in neutral. Port engine is still in forward, starboard engine in reverse, and we're twisting right. Both engines are now in reverse to slow and finally stop the boat. Now we pause the boat in neutral before twisting to port. This maneuver will put the starboard engine in forward gear, the port engine in reverse gear, and the boat will twist to port.
Hi, Captain Chris here. I'd like to give you a couple of quick tips on handling a twin engine boat with two shift levers. Starboard shift lever, port shift lever. Simple way to think about this is just to take your elbows, lock them into your rib cage, and if I wanted to steer to the right, or I'll twist my body to the right, you can notice these two levers are moving. My port lever would have gone forward, my starboard lever aft. So that would propel my port side forward, my starboard side in reverse, and then I'll twist the boat to the starboard. Let's start over again and let's practice on a real boat. If I wanted to go to the starboard, as if leaving the dock or even approaching the dock, I'll take my port lever forward, my starboard lever reverse, and then the boat will twist. To stop the twist, I'll put that starboard lever in neutral, my port lever in neutral, and I'll still have a little bit of twist. To bring the boat back, I'll put my port lever in reverse, my starboard lever in forward, and I'll come back to port. And remember, I've got some momentum, so I want to go to neutral and neutral, and I still have that momentum. Maybe overshot it a little bit, so I'll put my starboard lever in reverse, and I'll straighten it up, and I'll go back to neutral. And now let's practice leaving the dock. I'll take my port engine forward gear, my starboard engine in reverse gear. I'll twist off a little bit. I'll take my starboard gear into neutral,
and then into forward, and I'll go straight away. So now I'm going to pull back to idle, and you'll feel the boat grumble a little bit. Okay, let me twist. Oh, the wind is twisting us. Go ahead and let us go. So I'm going to take my port engine and go forward. The starboard engine go backwards. Port engine neutral, port engine reverse. And now I'm just going to go out at a little bit of an angle. So I just came straight out. I'm going to take my starboard engine and go to neutral. Starboard engine to forward. I'll use both throttles at the same speed. We'll rotate the boat. We call it twisting. See how the boat's twisting?
Yes,
Now I'll slow down the throttles again. Take my port engine from reverse. I'll put it in neutral. Pause. Wait for the propeller to stop turning. Put it forward. Okay. And now I'm going to go forward. Both engines are in forward gear. Both throttles are at about 1,000 RPM, and we're going straight. So now I can just use my steering wheel to steer the boat.
Gotcha. Oh my.
Now I've got enough speed for steerage, because you can't steer a boat unless the boat's
Going
moving.
back up on the right.
Okay. So now I slowed down so we don't make any wakes for the neighboring boats.
They're not dead. Oh my God. A summer job, right?
Okay, I'm going to go to idle. Feel the engines vibrating a little bit. I'm going to go to neutral and straighten up the rudders. And I want to see what my glide is doing. And I also want to feel what the wind is doing. The wind's blowing my stern to starboard.
Yep.
So I'll take my port engine and put it in forward gear. Give myself a little speed. I'm going to straighten the boat back up again.
Now, what is the difference, Chris? You know, or is this a decision that you make as to whether you're pulling in or whether you're going to face out like these two sport fishers?
It's a personal decision.
I got you.
Okay, I use my starboard engine in reverse to straighten the boat up a little bit. Now feel the wind is pushing my boat the opposite direction. So now I'm going to take my port engine in reverse and accelerate it a little bit. The boat's turning to port. Put it in neutral and wait a moment. I'm going to wait for the wind to push my stern around. Port in reverse again. See, the boat's turning a little bit. Now I'm getting my stern around to where I want it to be. And now both engines are in neutral. Let's see where she is with the dock line. She's got the dock line on. Breast is on. And now the bow's going to pull me over. The wind's going to push the bow over to the starboard side. She's going to use the boat pole and reach out and grab the dock line that she laid up on the handrail. Notice she laid it on the stainless handrail, not the wooden handrail. So that way she won't mess up the varnish on the handrail.
There you go. Bows
As
on.
Elise walks aft, she notices that our breast line slipped off one of the horns of the cleat. So she stops to re-secure it by tying the boat to the cleat,
Half off the horn.
and then continues on aft to tie the stern line to the dock.
This is
Okay, catch
beautiful.
the stern. I'm going to take the port engine and put it in reverse. And that will bring my stern next to the dock. So she's just going to grab that rope, dock line.
It's beautiful. It's like a ballet. It's like a pas de deux. I mean, really, it is.
Okay, stern line's on, neutral. So we're in.
Oh man! Bravo! Bravo! Oh, I love it. It's what a partnership. ship. I think.
As we approach a dock, we like to use the midship breast line first. By pulling this in short and tight, we can use this as a fulcrum point to teeter-totter the boat back and forth. We can put the boat in forward gear or reverse gear, pulling the stern or the bow closer into the dock. That way we can get the dock lines shorter and tighter, making the boat more secure upon arrival. The breast line can be used on a fixed or floating dock, on a cleat, or on a piling. Still aboard a twin-engine boat with no bow thruster, we're operating from a fixed dock. You'll usually find fixed docks in low tidal areas because the tide will come up and down, and the little bit of tidal range from 1 to 2 feet is not that severe or drastic. Notice there are no fenders deployed because the rub rail on the boat is actually rubbing against the vertical pilings. You can see my deckhand on the dock at the forward part of the boat, untying the dock line, and we'll throw it on board my boat. You can also see me on the flybridge watching, so I can see what's going on. You can't see it yet, but we also have a spring line that was adjusted to a breast line that's midship of the boat, and we still have a stern line tied onto the piling at the rear of the boat. Deckhand's now walking aft. You can see me on the flybridge walking over looking for marine traffic, and then I'm watching her come back and untie the stern line. In this case it was tied onto a cleat on the dock instead of a piling, and as she coils it up, throws it onto the back deck, walks back to the middle of the boat. Again, I'll walk over to the port side, look for marine traffic, and come back, and she comes aboard the boat, closes the companionway handrail, and prepares to let go of the midship breast line. Now my midship breast line is free. See me walk back to the center of the cockpit where the steering wheel is, take my port engine and turn it in reverse just a tiny bit, and now both engines in forward gear as I slide along the fixed dock out of the slip. Beware of your swim platform. You do not want to turn the boat drastically because the swim platform may hit the pilings. You can see me just idling out, idling until I clear the last of the fixed dock, and then I'll make a hard left turn to get away from those 2 pilings you see on my starboard side.
See it?
Okay, the sun's on the deck?
Yes.
Okay.
You see the mouse? See the mouse?
Yeah. Wind's got my stern pushing me to the right.
You see these 2 pilings over here?
Yep.
Okay.
It's late afternoon. We're headed back to the same fixed dock. In fact, we're headed west. Late in the day, you can see how bright the sunlight is burning into our eyes as we approach the dock. Elise calls out a couple of pilings that we make sure we want to miss. And I'm starting to feel the boat. You can see how the bow of the boat's moving right and left and right and left. I'm feeling the wind moving the boat back and forth, and I'm adjusting the shifters right and left, port and starboard, to correct the boat as I slide into the dock. You can also see the fenders in both photos are on board the boat. We have not deployed the fenders at the fixed dock, and we're counting on our rub rail to rub onto the pilings as we glide into place. As we glide in, we'll pick a piling to put our breast line on first. You can see my deckhand in the yellow shirt standing midships. Now coming through the 3rd piling, we're going to go a little bit more forward and catch the 2nd piling from view and we'll make that our midship breast line point where we'll tie the boat. And as soon as that's secure, I'll put the starboard engine in reverse, bring the stern in closer to the dock, and my deckhand will step off the boat, not jump, and grab the stern line and secure the stern to the dock. While the breast line is important for docking, it's not the way that we would leave the boat unattended. My deckhands walked aft to grab the stern line to pull the stern in close to the dock. Then she'll walk up and grab the bow line and then convert the midship breast line and make that become a spring line. Also, we've landed on the dock. We will then deploy a couple of fenders horizontally, so the horizontal fender will give us a little cushion or bounce as the boat rides up and down the pilings throughout the night with a little bit of wind, a little bit of current, and also some tidal change. So securing the boat is important. You want to land the boat first with the breast line, then get your stern line, your bow line, and then convert your breast line from a short line to a longer spring line. That's reverse. There's neutral right there. Most of the times when approaching a dock, we prefer to use the breast line first. On rare occasions, we have to change our approach and use a different landing scenario. Sometimes we may have to use the bow line or the stern line first to secure the boat to the dock. We're approaching the fuel dock, watching the boat in front of us. At first we thought he was heading into the haul-out well for dry dock, but now we see he's making a U-turn. We're watching him turn and turn and turn. So now we're assuming that he's going to either pump out on his port side or fuel the boat on his port side. I can see he's got a deckhand on the port. Now he's almost through a 360-degree rotation. I assume he's going to start to back up. He is backing up. So watch him very slowly and easily approach the fuel dock. And we're just assuming that he's going to tie his port stern line to the dock first and then power forward with the left rudder and bring the bow into the fuel dock to secure the bow to the fuel dock. All this time we're maneuvering on a single engine boat with a bow thruster against the current in Taylor Creek, keeping our distance until he gets secured before we can then approach the fuel dock ourselves. Patience, patience, patience. He's taking his time. Notice he is patient. And look at the fuel dock attendants walking around ready to receive the dock lines from the boat as he gets closer. Closer, closer, oh look, he just threw the line. Well, lucky for him, he was big enough and strong enough to heave that line about 10 or 12 feet to the deckhands on the fuel dock. But if he were to have missed, then that line would have gone in the water, possibly got wrapped around his propeller. So our goal is to get the boat closer to the dock and hand the line to the deckhand on shore. Now you can see he's starting the door hinge maneuver where he's powering a little bit closer to the dock. Now he's going to take his starboard engine in forward gear and bring the bow closer to the fuel dock. Once the captain has confirmed that the dockhand has the stern line secured and properly tied onto a cleat, then he can power forward and bring the boat closer to the dock. Keep in mind this is in Taylor Creek with about a 2-knot current, so he may be fighting a current that we cannot see because we're not where he is. So let's just be patient and watch and see what he does. There, the deckhand on the bow just threw the bow line to the dockhand on the fuel dock, and now they're going to pull the boat in closer by hand. See the dockhand on the fuel dock pulling, pulling, pulling. An easier way to do this would be to take your port engine in reverse and the starboard engine in forward, and the boat would have powered around making the typical door hinge maneuver. This way everybody had to use their back and brute strength to pull the boat in, but most important thing to remember, that dock line could have fallen in the water and gotten wrapped around the propellers. Very dangerous thing to happen in a creek with a current running.
Reverse, thrust left.
Help us welcome Bob and Catherine as they complete 7,000 miles crossing their wake from the Great Loop. Pretty exciting. Catherine's at the helm today as they've shared the co-captain duties throughout this year-long adventure. Coming in on the port side, Bob has the fenders down, ready for a floating dock, and he's waiting at the midship cleat with a breast line in his hand. He has all the rest of the lines ready, and fortunately, somebody's come out on the dock to give him a hand. But he's ready even if there wasn't anyone there. Catherine has on a good glide and she's in neutral for a few moments, but to slow the boat down she may be putting it in reverse, and it looks like she probably put it in reverse just then. Bob's now going to be able to hand the line to the person on the dock. No throwing, just hand that line off. He told her where to put it, bringing up slack, making it a breast line. Once it's as tight as it can be, the person on the dock ties the line off and goes to where the next line, stern line's being handed out the window. It's probably a good idea for the captain to stay at the helm right now until all the lines are secured in case she needs to bring the bow in or the stern in. But yay, we're done. Not a problem. Everything's good. We have a midship line on and a stern line on, and now we're getting ready to hand off the bow.
Welcome home, Gold Loopers.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, I'd like to talk about thrusters. Everybody's heard of them, but let's think what they are. They're either a bow thruster in the bow of the boat with a tunnel going through the hull, or a stern thruster, which is usually external outside the transom of the boat. They're usually electric powered, 24-volt electricity, and you'll have a toggle switch on the dashboard. If you want to thrust to the right, push it over and let go and it'll spring up, or if you want to thrust to the left, push it over, let go, and it will spring up. Same thing if you have a stern thruster, you'll have two toggle switches, one forward and one aft. So you can actually push them both to the left, to the port, and the boat will move over. Or if you want to move them both to the starboard side, the boat will move back again. Or, and I'm going to have trouble doing this with my fingers, you can push one to port and the other one to the starboard, and the boat will twist. So that gives you extra ability to maneuver the boat when backing into the slip, or bowing into the slip, or coming into a fuel dock. So thrusters are a nice asset, and keep in mind they can be electrically powered, or on some larger boats they may be hydraulically powered. Think about thrusters.
This is the tunnel through the bow of a boat. And now look at this on the port side of a larger boat. And on the starboard side. Also count the number of propellers and the amount of blades on the propellers. Depending on the size of the boat and the horsepower of the thruster, the number of propellers and the blades may differ from boat to boat. If you see this cross mark at the waterline on the bow of a boat, that means there's a thruster underwater. Most stern thrusters are mounted externally on the transom of the boat. This gives you good side-to-side motion when trying to thrust the stern to the port and to the starboard. These flight photographs show a brand new boat before the underwater anti-fouling paint has been applied. Watch this 48-foot boat as he's thrusting to starboard to the right. You can see the water pulsing out the port side of the boat, forcing the boat to the starboard side. This is a single lever, usually for a bow thruster. And then here you can see two levers for a bow thruster and a stern thruster. This is a 52-foot cruiser, twin engines, bow thruster and stern thruster. You can see as they're hovering, waiting in the marina, waiting in the fairway for the deckhand to get the lines ready. They already have the fingers deployed over on the starboard side, and the deckhand is now preparing the midship cleat for the breast line as they back the boat into the slip. Charlotte is at the helm. Stephen is preparing the lines. You can see how you put them across the top of the handrail, so when they back the boat in, they can hand them off without having to worry about damaging the handrails of the boat. You may notice that the radar mast is hinged and laid back. This is a feature many loopers do to get under the low bridges on the Erie Canal and downtown Chicago. Again, you can see Stephen on the bow finishing the bow line preparation. Charlotte is now backing the boat in. Take a look at the flag on the stern of the boat. You can now appreciate the wind that she has to deal with coming into the marina. And she's jockeying the boat with the two engines, one engine forward, one engine in reverse, back and forth, back and forth. Now also using the stern thruster and the bow thruster to twist the boat to get it in alignment with the slip. As she backs the boat into the slip, watch for the prop wash under the stern of the boat. You may also see the boat squat a little bit and listen for the whine of the electric stern thruster or the bow thruster. In the background and over to the right on the finger pier, you may see the welcoming committee, two other looper couples that are welcoming them back as they cross their wake. Another thing I'd like to point out is the visibility. The helmsperson does not have that much visibility going back, so they have to rely upon seeing that piling to their port side and the piling to the starboard side, and of course any advice given from their deckhand on board the boat or the dockhand on the dock. So she's lined up perfectly, coming in very slow, very slow, very slow. And you can notice that the dock lines were handed off, never thrown. And watch the prop wash under the back of the boat when they stop the boat to prevent it from coming back any further. A little stern thrust there, moving the boat to the starboard. And welcome home, jackets. We're in Kent Narrows, Maryland with a very strong current.
Okay, they've got a deckhand coming out.
Midship line first.
Yes, if we can. Let me clear this trailer boat first.
I see.
We got a good current running behind us, that's why we're turning around.
This is a twin engine boat with bow thruster. And notice the control levers. We only have two levers instead of four like we showed you on earlier boats. This is a newer electronic control where one lever does both the shifting and the throttles per engine. So we've got two levers. You can see one, the starboard lever is forward for an accelerated forward motion, and the port one is in reverse, accelerated reverse motion. Watch as I maneuver the boat using the engines forward and reverse, twisting the boat. Now you can also see me accelerating the engines to make a smaller radius turn. With the starboard engine forward and the port engine in reverse, I'm twisting two ports to the left. And watch out the window, you can see the scenery as I'm twisting the boat around. We're going to approach a fuel dock so we can take on fuel and pump out the boat. And at the last moment you can hear my bow thruster by my left hand at the lower part of the screen. You can hear the bow thruster whine. As we come in, you can see my shifters back and forth, neutral, starboard, forward, starboard a little bit faster forward, idle, back to neutral, both engines neutral, port engine forward. So I'm trying to align the boat with the help of my deckhand who's calling up instructions.
That's okay, we can't use them.
Hi, how
How are you?
Good. You guys need fuel or pump out?
Fuel.
Fuel? Sounds good. If you want to come right here, it's fine. Diesel, correct?
Right. Okay, Mike, see that fat piling sticking out? I'm going to lay the boat on that fat piling.
Put your backside right here.
How far do you want me to go?
Keep coming.
How far?
Let's put your backside, yeah, right against here.
Okay.
Alright, that'll be it right there.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay, bow thruster works. Shifters work. Bow line's off. Forward spring's off. You gotta bring in that fender when you come aboard.
I am on board.
Okay, marine traffic. Looks good.
All right, that fender's in.
Fender's in. Okay, here we go.
All clear.
Thank you.
While we're pulling out of the marina in Cape May, New Jersey, you can hear a lot of communication between the captain and the mate.
Looking good starboard.
Thank you.
As we back into the fairway, you can hear the instructions from my mate, my lookout on the aft deck of the boat. Then you may hear the whine of the bow thruster as I thrust to the left, to the port, to line up in the fairway.
I'll stay behind.
Alrighty. Okay, big screen's up, little
Okay.
screen's up.
New York City, here we come.
Hi, Captain Chris back again. Now that we've covered the twin engine boats, let's talk about single engine boats. Single engine boats mostly have what's known as a left-hand rotating propeller, meaning it's anti-clockwise when you go forward, and therefore it is clockwise when you go in reverse. For that reason, when you back a single engine boat, it will walk right in reverse. So let's talk about the shifter. We only have one shifter at this time, one engine. Forward gear, neutral, reverse gear, neutral. So let's go forward. Forward gear will go forward. Neutral will slow down and stop. And now we go into reverse gear and the boat will actually start to walk a little bit to the right. Neutral, will have a little momentum. Forward will go straight. Neutral, reverse, will go back again with a walk to the right. Neutral, forward, will go straight. Neutral, reverse, will walk a little bit more to the right. Neutral. So you can see what I'm doing by walking around using my shifter, not using my steering wheel. The boat will walk to the right, or it will curve to the right when backing in. Learn to use that as an asset. Speaking of assets, something additional that you may have would be a bow thruster. So I'll use my left hand with the toggle for the bow thruster. Thrust right, thrust left. Forward gear, neutral gear, reverse gear, neutral gear. So now with the aid of a bow thruster and my propulsion engine shifter, I can do things a little bit more controlled or a little bit faster. So this time I'll go forward, neutral, reverse. I'll start to walk right. I can take my thruster and thrust it left to my port, and I've made a much smaller radius turn or a tighter curve, so that way I can control the bow of the boat when I want to back it into a slip. So we can use the thruster to thrust to the right, to the starboard, to the left, to the port. We can use the engine to go forward, the engine to go reverse, but keep in mind when the engine is in reverse, it will walk right. These are phenomena common with single engine boats all over the world. So think about that. Single engine boats walk right in reverse. Count on it. Learn to use it to your advantage. And if you're fortunate and have a bow thruster, then you can make your circles or your turning radiuses even smaller or tighter, giving you more control of the boat. Hope this helps you understand the single engine trawlers.
Watch this captain and crew as they're handling their 48-foot single engine boat with a bow and stern thruster. They're casting off early on the morning, very, very windy, with boat traffic just passing astern. Stern line's free. Now she's headed for the bow line.
Morning.
Now she takes the bow line free, while the captain holds the boat into the dock with the bow thruster. She's made it clear the boat is free and she is aboard the boat. The captain may leave. Watch the same 48-foot boat, single engine, bow and stern thruster, glide into the slip, this time with the wind on the port bow. Last time it was on the starboard side. Also watch, pay close attention, the deckhand, the mate, does not throw the line. They hand it off evenly. Everything is cool, calm, and controlled.
Yeah, but she's got her system. Watch your system. See all of her fingers are at the right level?
Now the dockhand takes the line, keeps it short, waiting for the boat to advance further into the slip before he ties it onto a cleat. The mate's watching, giving instructions to the captain how close they are to the dock and if the fingers are rolling. And now she prepares the bow line. And again, it will be handed off, not thrown.
Go ahead. Keep coming.
Disappointed, nothing happened.
Welcome.
I knew we'd have an audience. You guys are so bad.
No, remember, sometimes you watch the show and sometimes you are the show.
It's gonna
And
be
you
on
put
the
on a
sixth.
very good show.
We'll be on this.
So we're going to bump it backwards. Bump. Neutral. See, our bow moves over to our left, so thrust our bow back to the right. Okay.
Run over here quickly.
This is a perfect example of a single engine boat walking right and reverse. Watch the anchor pulpit on the bow of the boat. We don't want those fenders rolling along the side of the hull. Okay. Thrust is left. Okay. Bump this again. Thrust right. You got it. Good. Okay. In reverse again. Okay. Are you watching? We're okay? Yeah. Come on back. Reverse. Keep us in reverse. Look for marine traffic. Okay, thrust right, Bettini. Beautiful. Now you can do a turn, if you want to do a turn here. Neutral.
Clear all docks.
Thank you. Don't shift yet. Hard left rudder. Forward gear, thrust left, and give us a little gas. See how that accelerated our turn? Keep us going. Okay, idle, neutral, reverse. Give us some gas in reverse. Continue thrusting left. Sweet. Now, single engine boats, this brand boat will typically walk right. So see, we've got that stern walking right. Okay, idle, neutral, let the propeller stop spinning, forward gear, and see we are spinning left. Okay, straighten up the rudder, watch it right there. Give us a little gas. A little more. How was that?
It was great. Very good instructions. Very clear.
Now our deckhand's picking up all the deck lines. I'll pull up the fenders and put those away. Now I would like to introduce you to some new technology. The pod drive system. Volvo IPS and Cummins Zeus have both introduced a new pod drive system using duo props beneath the hull of the boat. This is innovative and not at all like the traditional shaft and propeller design that we've done in the single engine and the twin engine boats. The pod drive system is controlled by fly-by-wire technology, and this is coupled into a joystick on the dashboard of the boat. Pay close attention as we bring you aboard this next boat. Watch the wrist action on the joystick as we're maneuvering around the docks. These two photos show the traditional shifters and the optional fly-by-wire joystick. both at the lower helm. Now we're on the fly bridge. Using the joystick, watch the wrist action, forward, aft, port and starboard, and then twisting the joystick. The pod drives beneath the boat are known as directed thrust. There is no rudder. These pods turn back and forth and go into forward gear and reverse gear to maneuver the boat away from the dock or while anchoring. Also pay attention to the traditional shift levers on the right hand or the starboard of the joystick. He's not using those at all. Also pay attention to the steering wheel. It is not being turned. All of the work is being done by the joystick and the pod drivers. Now we're maneuvering over to the starboard, twisting a little bit, and the boat is twisting to starboard, and then the joystick is leaned forward. Gives us a little bit more RPMs, more forward speed. You can also, the GPS is turning back and forth, and we're lining up on the fairway as we're exiting the marina. Welcome to the world of fly-by-wire technology. With the maneuvers that we have shown you, see if you can pilot this 53-foot twin-engine bow thruster boat back into the slip. Check out the visibility that the helmsman has or does not have.
I'll give it a try. We're gliding in and we're making a little bit of a turn to the port, but we need to slow down, so there we go. We put it into neutral, and then reverse. As we're going backwards, the mates have bow, midship, and stern lines on both port and starboard ready to go, and fenders down. So I'm just driving the boat, deciding what the current and the wind is doing to me. I need to thrust to the left a few times, thrust to the port to get the bow around, put the starboard engine into neutral and then into forward to turn me a little bit more. The port engine is back into reverse. I'm starting to turn a little bit more. That's good. Now I'm going to put that starboard engine into neutral, let the port engine keep pulling me in reverse, and a little bit of a turn with bow to the port. Now I'm going to go in reverse with both engines. More power on it. Take starboard back out into neutral. I can't really see very well, so I'm relying on my mate to tell me if there's any problems. But when I can see the piling on my port side, I might step away from the helm and look over and see what's going on. There I go, looking over to see what's happening. How many feet do I have? Both engines in neutral with a quick bump forward to slow me down. There we go. Back to neutral. I still have some momentum, guiding me in reverse just a little bit. So once that midship line gets pleated off, I'll be able to rely on it to bring my stern toward the starboard. There we go. Tighten it up, snug it up. Don't need to worry about that stern line yet. Just get me stopped. I'm still in neutral at this point, just gliding. And here we go, starting to bring the stern over to the starboard, all from the teeter-totter of that breast line. So how'd we do?
Elise and I would like to thank you for joining us for this docking DVD. If you've got a boat, single engine, twin engine, or a pod drive system, we ask you to practice, practice, practice. If you don't have a boat, we ask you to call us. Join us aboard our 44-foot training boat, Sandy Hook, based in Fort Pierce, Florida. We offer live-aboard training, 2, 3, 4, and even 5-day cruises. This way you can learn how to dock, maneuver, anchor, navigate, use the radar, and the GPS. Remember, if you have a question, ask Captain Chris.